Hey everyone, what's up? My name is Ivan and welcome to the channel. In today's episode, we are going to continue with our recording series and we will be recording the rhythmic guitars of our rock song. So let's move on with the logo. If this is the first time you are visiting our channel, what I'm doing is I am documenting the recording process of a rock song. So in the first episode of this series, we prepared the session in Pro Tools for the recording, then we programmed drums, and in the last episode, we recorded the bass. And in this video, we're going to record rhythmic guitars. So the idea is that I will show you what is my process, what is my approach, and the methods that I use to record the rhythmic guitars. If you haven't, go ahead and click on the link that's above here, and it will take you to the first video of our recording series. Okay guys, now I will show you the guitar we're going to use for our recording. This is a Fender Jaguar guitar. It is a Mexican guitar. It's got two humbuckers on the bridge and neck, toggles to control the volume of each pickup. We have an on and off switch for both pickups. This switch is here to select whether we want to use one of them or both, and a switch that gives it a little more brightness to the pickup that is selected. We have a volume and tone controls. Now, I've been doing some tests and I will be using the bridge pickup only. I think it gives it a little more brighter sound that is closer to what I'm looking for. It would also be ideal to record, for example, a Les Paul type guitar, also with humbuckers. But the reason why I chose this one is because it's got a tremolo here and I want to make some takes using the tremolo. That is the idea that I have so far. So this is the guitar we will be recording. Okay, so we are going to do three things. First, we are going to find the tone of our guitar. I will show you the way I do it. Then I will show you guys another method, which I call the desperation method. And then we are going to record the guitars and I will use the playlist feature in Pro Tools. And I will show you guys what is my approach and my method for recording guitars. And that's it. So let's move on and get into Pro Tools. So I'm going to show you the way I find the tone for my guitar. So usually what I do is I try to get a reference. I could start first playing around, for example, with Amplitube and just playing around with the different amps and the different settings. I could also try to mimic a reference, and actually that's what we are going to do in this case. As I was telling you guys, my idea is to make sort of like an 80s type of song. What I would do is to listen to different artists and try to figure out the sound that they were using, and also do some research about the settings and what amps they would use. But here's another trick that I would like to share with you guys, and it is if you search, for example, Def Leppard isolated guitar, and you will find, for example, Def Leppard Animal Live Guitar 1. You're able to find isolated tracks, and that way you will be able to hear exactly, or at least very closely, the tone of the isolated guitar. It's going to be much easier if you have that guitar just recorded there. Let me show you guys another example that I was listening to, Van Halen. And here, for example, you can find the isolated track for Jump, and we have the guitar and keyboards, and you can listen to it and see how Eddie Van Halen was recording his guitar and the effects he was using. It is much easier if you have the isolated track. You can find a lot of artists just here on YouTube, and I'm sure there are many other sources. Another source that I like is there are some websites where you can download free multi-track sessions. And many times you can come across a very well recorded guitar and pretty awesome guitar sound. And you can also take that as a reference. So that's, that's a couple of tips for you guys. But for now, let's start playing around with Amplitube. And I will show you guys basically what I did. I'm going to enable the noise gate here. I'm not gonna leave it when I record, but for now, so that it doesn't interfere with my voice, but I will leave it here. Actually, you can download Guitar Rig. I understand that the noise gate tool in Guitar Rig is much better than this one from Amplitube, particularly when it comes to the, not the release, but the attack time. I'm going to leave the release as it was. You can control the attack and it has a much better response. But for now, let's just use this one. So what I do is I try to play around. It can be with Amplitube or any other simulator. Let's take a listen to this one, the Red Pig, which I've heard gives a pretty nice rock sound. This one's pretty nice. You can listen clearly the notes and the details of the chords. Take a look at this configuration that I have here. This is also something that I researched about the settings they would use back in the 80s. Pretty much the amp is about to blow up, or that's what they would do. And I guess that, or the idea of this amp simulators is that they are able to replicate that behavior of that particular amp. So playing around with these settings, which is pretty much everything all the way up except for the bass. And another one that I wanted to try out was this one here. I guess this is a simulation of the JMC 900. Let's take a listen to this one. Yeah, this one's pretty heavy as well. Now let's take a listen to this one, which is the, I believe it is a simulation of the JCM 800. And same settings that I was describing. And I think this is the sound that gets closer to what I'm looking for. All right, something that is also very important for this simulation plugin, or the one that you would like to use, is that the configuration of the microphones, the microphone placement, plays a very important role on the sound. So let's take a listen, for example, of the difference if I place the mic here, this SM57, right in front of the cone. Let's move it away. Let's move it closer. Oops. Let's move it away. So this is pretty cool because it gives you a lot of versatility. So I'll just leave it as I had it. I'm also using some room mics here, as you see, room mic simulation of a pretty much dead room, but I still hear a little bit of room sound and I like it, and I mix it with the other microphones. You can also change the speakers, but these are the standard speakers of a simulated Marshall 4x12. And that's pretty much it that I wanted to show you. So experiment with this. You can also use any other or input responses as well. But for now, I will stick with this one. It is close to what I'm looking for. Another important tip, try to understand what's the difference in sound between, for example, some basic Marshall amplifiers, Orange and Mesa Boogie, for example. They sound quite different. And there are a bunch of YouTube videos where they will show you the sound of thousands of amplifiers. And you can get an idea of what's the difference if I decide to change to use, for example, a orange amplifier instead of a Marshall or a Mesa. Sound is quite different, but with time you will start identifying that sound also in the songs that you hear of your favorite artists. To me, these songs that I was listening to, they sound to me a lot of Marshall. Marshall, or it could be Highwood. I was also trying Highwood as well, but I don't know. To me, it is more close to this. So this is it. This is how I play around with the sound, and I get the tone for my guitar. Okay, guys, now I'm going to show you what is my desperate method for desperate times, desperate measures. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to record some guitar here using the Amplitube sound that we have already found. So let's do that. All right, so we have it here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to commit this track here. All right, make sure that it's a little loud. Let's bring the volume down. Let's take a listen to it. All right. So what I did is that I found a guitar track that I want to use as a reference. Let's say that this is the tone that I really like, and it is right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this very famous plugin, which is called Isotope. And I'm going to use a functionality that it has that is called EQ matching. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to capture this audio, which is the reference guitar, and it is the sound that I'm after. The plugin is going to read or analyze the EQ of this guitar, and it is going to analyze the EQ of the guitar that I recorded, and it is going to tell me which EQ I need to apply to my guitar so that it sounds as close as possible to this one. So let's first grab our reference audio here. So let's say that this is a sample guitar sound that maybe you can find in a multi-track session, and you say, oh my God, that sounds awesome, or anywhere else, and you want to match this tone. Now let's give it the target audio. What I'm going to do now is that I'm going to apply that EQ all the way, and let's listen how it sounds when I apply the whole thing here. All right, let's now listen to the reference. Let's now listen to the one that I recorded with this applied. I don't know, but to me it sounds pretty close, except for obviously my performance. I didn't play those notes well, but this is a method. I mean, I could use this plugin and apply it this way, this very extreme way. Why not? And get the tone that I want, exactly the way I want it. Something else that I could do is let's bring this down a little bit. Let's bring this EQ, and I will smooth it down as well. And if I look at this, what I see is that this shape is giving me some clues about how I could, during the mix, later on in the process, EQ my guitars so that they resemble a little bit more this reference guitar that I have. So I would have to bring down some of the middle frequencies here. There seems to have a boost around 1.5K, and then another one, pretty big one, around 6K, and then they are, maybe this is a flat section. But I could use an EQ, and with only these 1, 2, 3 bands, try to get to this guitar tone that I like. I could also go back to the amp, for example, and see if I could, how could I do to make it sound brighter, and maybe bring down the mids. That's something that I could try doing in the amp in order to resemble this sound a little bit more. But this is something that I like. It is a desperate method for desperate situations, and I hope it is useful for you and you can get an idea and use it in your own projects. Now let's move on and start recording finally the guitar of our song. Hello friends, so we're going now to start the recording process of our guitar. So the first thing that I'm going to do is make sure that it is tuned. I'm going to fast forward, but that's the first thing I do. Okay guys, so Pro Tools has this feature which is playlists. So the idea is that every time I want to make a new take, I'll just add a new playlist here, and then I will be able to switch here from waveform view into playlist view, and I will be able to select the parts that I think are better performed and make a comp guitar. So I'm going to fast forward this recording process and show you what's the result. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to record 2 guitars, one for the left and the other for the right speaker, and I'm going to tweak the settings a little bit so that they don't sound exactly the same. I'm also going to play the chords a little bit different, and that's the starting point. One very important advice, guys, is please use new strings. Do a test yourselves and record something with your old rusty strings, and then change and put on new strings, and you'll see there's a big difference. So that's it. So let's get it going. Okay, so this is the process that I followed. So I have recorded several takes in this playlist here, and what I'm going to do is I created a new playlist, blank playlist, which is going to be this space is going to be the comp, or it's going to be basically the comp of the guitars that I recorded. So I'm going to switch here from waveform view into playlists view. And what I've got here is each one of the takes that I did for the song. What I'm going to do in my process is I'm going to start auditioning each of these tracks, and I will select the parts that I like. So for example, let's start with this one here. Let's compare it to this one. Okay, let's say that I like better this second one. So I will continue doing this and until I have the whole track ready, the whole track auditioned and ready. And I will do fast forward, but I will do the same process for the second guitar. I will just in another track record several takes and then select the best parts. But this is the process that I follow that I wanted to show you guys. So I'll just fast forward and show you guys what is the final result after I have both guitars recorded. So see you in a while. Alright, so I have finished recording the guitars. So what I've got here is guitar 1, guitar 2. The first guitar is already a commitment, and the second guitar, as we can see here in this playlists, contains all of the takes that I did, and I selected the best parts and I have them on this track here. And yes, just as a final step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to commit this track. But for now, let's take a listen a little bit of what is the result of these two recorded guitars. Alright, so what I would do next is I'm going to commit this track, or I could take a listen and a look to it again just to do some edits. For example, here in the intro. So that both guitars sound a little bit more aligned. And after I commit the tracks, I'll also make sure that they have about the same volume, the same level, so that in order to pan them left and right and don't have much of a volume difference there. So yeah, that's the idea. So let's let me start by committing this track here. And one thing that I'm going to do is this source track with all of the takes, I'm going to hide it here and make it inactive, but I will keep it. I'm not going to delete it, but I will work on my mix with the committed track. So that's it. This is my process of recording guitars. Okay, so that's it. That's the method that I use to record rhythm guitars. So let me know in the comments below what you think about it. Let me know if you have followed me throughout all of these series, and let me know if you're writing a song. What do you think? Let me know if you do things maybe a little different, or what would you suggest to me. I'm eager to learn as well as you guys, and I'm eager to see your comments and see and read about the way you record your own guitars. Also, don't forget to check out the songwriting series. It is the very first series of this whole recording process. Just click also here on this link that's right above here, and it will take you to the first video of that series. And that would be it for this episode. In our next episode, we will continue recording guitars. This time it's going to be lead guitars. A melodic guitar or a lead guitar is something very important that could also make your song special. And I can think of so many songs with awesome and memorable lead guitars. So that's a very important part of a song. So stay tuned to the channel, hit the notifications button to be aware every time there is new content on the channel. If you haven't, please don't forget to subscribe. And if this content has been of use for you, please also hit the like button. And I'll see you guys on the next episode.